Let's hear it one more time for Jim Knight. Wow. Wow. You rock. Okay, so the art of managing up. How many people in this room have mastered the art or the science of managing their bosses? Raise your hands real high. What? No one? Okay, I have to tell you that I feel like this is one of the secret sauces that I had as I advanced in my career. And I learned this at an early stage in my career too, which really helped a lot navigating to the executive ranks and ultimately owning my own business. So we're going to talk about managing up. We're going to talk about how do you manage your boss? And I want you to think in the back of your mind, your best boss, it's probably the person that you're sitting next to right now, right? And also your worst boss, because this works both ways. You want to be able to think of, how can I learn from anybody and everybody that I work with? Because we don't get to pick our boss, usually. So really think about, okay, how can I use this? And the number one thing that I want you to think about is, do you know your boss? And I will go back to a time when I had a boss that I didn't necessarily like. I didn't necessarily respect a lot, but I had to get to know him. I had to really understand what made him tick, what made him decide what he wanted to decide, what I needed to do to be able to serve the organization, to make sure that I was doing what he wanted me to do. So I need to know him. I need to and use DISC, use just understanding, asking questions of him, getting to know what his family is like or her family, what they like to do in their off time. You want to be able to get to know that person. What's their style? How do they like to communicate? It's really, really important to communicate to them the way they want to be communicated to. So Kurt's got a free assessment. If you're interested, see him afterwards. You can take an assessment. You can take one for your boss. And that's one good way, but there's so many different ways that you can get to know him. But super important, make sure that you know your boss. Number 2, get on the same page. So why would you be on a different page of your boss, right? But there's so many politics in organizations, so many people pulling you this way and pulling you this way, and the water cooler talks and all that stuff. Be on the same page. No matter if you like your boss, if it's the best boss that you've ever had, or it's a boss that you don't necessarily like, you got to get on the same page. Make sure that you are saying the things that mean the most to them, that you're making sure that you're acting appropriately, you're acting professionally, you bring your best attitude to work every single day and in each of those interactions with your boss. The third one is ask questions. Make sure you're asking the right questions. So I am kind of a big picture person. If you ask Kurt or Chelsea or some of the people that I've worked with in the past, well, what's Joleen's style? Well, she's big picture, and sometimes the details escape her. And sometimes when I send her an email, she only gets to the first 2 sentences. So do you know enough to be able to execute on what your projects are? And if that person is a big picture person, it's really important for you to ask the right questions. Make sure that you are clear about what their vision is of this project or of the initiative or of your department. You need to make sure that you're on the same page. And by doing that, by asking the right questions, you're going to get to that place much sooner. Number 4, prioritize. Well, duh, right? Everyone knows. We have to prioritize all the things that we're doing every single day. So prioritize daily, prioritize weekly, prioritize monthly, quarterly, annually. You're doing your strategic planning, all those things. Well, yeah, this is not what I mean by prioritize. I mean, are you including your boss on that prioritization? You need to make sure that you're doing that with him or her. that you're both really understanding what the priorities are. And why is that important? Because sometimes things can't get done, right? You have to prioritize, because if I do this all day, then 3 other things are not going to get done. So make sure that you're prioritizing and that you're both in agreement of what those priorities are. Number 5, be proactive, not reactive. And I will tell you that I have made mistakes in my career. In fact, I made a mistake yesterday. I make mistakes all the time, but I always try to make sure that I tell my boss or I tell the person that this is affecting before they have to come to me. So if my project is late, I'm not going to wait for them to say, Joleen, when are you going to get that manual to me? Or when are you going to get this project to me? I'm going to say, wow, I really messed up, and I'm going to be a little bit late, or this happened. Be the one to come clean. Be the one to say, hey, I just want to make sure that you get a heads up. Make sure that you're not reactive and you're not having to have that difficult conversation, because that's not a fun conversation for that boss, and it's not a fun conversation for you either. Lastly, make them shine. Make them look good. That's what we do. As trainers, we lift people up. So make sure that you're lifting your boss up. No matter what, you want to make them shine. You know, if they're doing a great job managing up, think about that. Then if you're the one complaining about your boss, what's going to happen in that organization? Make sure that you're making them shine, you're making them look good, and you're a united front. Think about using your strengths to cover up some of their weaknesses, potentially. And maybe other people will do the same for you. So thank you very much. The art of managing up, all of you need to do it, and all of you need to make sure that your bosses are shining. Thank you.